Well, hello everyone. My name is Shanita, and I am the founder of Future Focused Coaching and Wellness. And today I want to bring you another presentation dealing with loneliness and being disconnected from other people. Now, as empaths and highly sensitive people, sometimes, just sometimes, we enjoy the silence and the solitude. I know for one I do. It's my sacred way to recharge and restore. But when we are with other people, do you still feel alone? Do you feel disconnected from the people around you? Are you longing for more meaningful relationships and connection with others? So let me ask you this. Are you longing for connection with yourself? Well, if you answer yes to any of those questions, I want you to take a seat, get comfortable, and just hear me out for the next few minutes because I think I just might have a way to help you not only better connect with yourself, but to those around you. So let's take a deep dive in. And this presentation, I'm going to do a lot of personal sharing, so I hope you'll stick with me because this is incredibly important. We are living in a society where our smartphones, apps, social media profiles, and posts are serving this idea and many times this false sense of who people truly are on their pages. But do we really know the people that follow us? Of course not. I don't have a lot of people on my social media pages, but there is no way I can have a deep, meaningful connection with over 200, 300 people. You get sound bites of people's lives. But for those of us that have a circle of friends that we enjoy, we want to make sure that those connections, those times of fellowship, are meaningful. That we not only see them and give the best of us to them, but they reciprocate that and see the best in us and is willing to give back to us as well. So, are you silently aching, longing for that type of reciprocity in your relationships? Well, if you are, let me share with you just a brief example. Because there have been many times where I've been in a room with many people and I felt so alone, so isolated. I didn't quite understand what was going on. I just knew that that ache of being invisible, of feeling invisible, was really, really overwhelming. And I began to think, how is it that I can be around a bunch of people and yet no one knows me? I don't know them. And I wish that there would be someone safe and supportive to sit next to me while I'm at this particular event, function, meeting, whatever. To have that safe energy next to me to help me get through. So, how many of you have ever sat in a room full of people feeling alone? Conversations are just flowing around you, and you're not talking. No one is paying attention to you. When is the last time that's happened to you? So tonight, again, we're going to talk about that ache. We are going to expose that ache and put a soothing balm on that to help you to find your way back not only to yourself, but to your community at large. Because the deepest loneliness, it isn't about being alone. It's about being unseen while being surrounded by others. And I want to help you to not feel like that anymore, to not be in circumstances and situations where that is an oh too familiar feeling. So, my question for us today is, when was the last time you felt truly seen by someone? Now, I want you to take a moment to really take in that question into your spirit. When was the last time you truly felt seen by someone? Has it been too long? Or was it just the other day? My heart for you says, I hope it was just the other day. But if that is not true for you, don't worry, because we are going to help you to find that connection, to embody that connection, so that you do not have to feel this way ever again, or very few and far between. So here's a story I want to share with you all. There was one day about 20 years ago when I was getting off of work and I felt horrible. I powered through the day because I didn't want to disappoint anybody. I didn't want to let any of my patients down. So I powered through. But this was one time when powering through didn't work in my favor. It took every ounce of strength that I had to get home, to drive myself home. And I remember unlocking my door to my house, closing the door behind me, dropping my briefcase, my keys, and I fell on the couch, exhausted. I was so grateful that I made it home without hurt or incident. But I remember saying, I've never felt like this before, and I just don't know what to do. I see, months or weeks before that, I had reached out to people and I said, look, something's not right. I need help. And for whatever reason, justified or not, they were not able to be there for me. And it really hurt because I'm not someone that asks for favors all the time. As a matter of fact, if I ask you for a favor, it's because I truly need something from you and I have exhausted all other means before I've come to you. So this night I felt like not only was I not feeling well physically, but emotionally, I felt so alone and isolated because I'd reached out for help and it wasn't met for whatever reason. And then I just remember falling asleep on the couch, still in my work clothes, and I get this call. And I see it's from my now wife, but then she was just my girlfriend. And she says, I haven't heard from you. I was wondering, are you okay? Did you make it through the day okay? And with every ounce of strength, I said, I'm not doing well. And before I could even finish my statement, she said, what do you need me to do for you? And it felt like in just 5 minutes or less, she was knocking on my door with dinner, with medicine, and with any other thing she felt like I might need to get me through that night. I didn't have to ask. All I said was, I'm really not doing well. And her compassion, her ability to see and to hear, for me to say that without fuss, she knew that I truly was not in a good space. And I never forgot that. To be in a position where you need help or you're reaching out for someone to give back to you all of the attention and the love and the compassion that you so freely give to other people. It was a beautiful moment between us. And it started me on my journey of saying it was effortless with her having my needs met, being seen, being understood, and not having to fight to get the things that I need from people who say they love me, who care about me. And that feeling was so amazing and exhilarating that it started me on my quest to make sure that I had that type of response from anyone in my life whom I considered close to me. So I'm going to ask you, do you have that type of relationship in your life right now? And if you don't, are you wanting that? Because I am going to suggest to you that not only is that your birthright, not only do you deserve that, but you truly can have that in your life. But it's going to take some honesty. As my brother Mario always says, you can't heal until you get real. So this is your invitation for honest, radical self-reflection to eradicate disconnection, dis-ease, discomfort from your significant relationships. And I hope that you will grab towards it and hold on to it for dear life and begin to see yourself in thriving, fulfilling, and compassionate relationships. And today, I hope that begins with you first, that you can do that for you. Now, as I've said before, it's not about being alone. It's about feeling the loneliness when you're surrounded by so many other people, or when you have a lot of people in your life that do not reciprocate that empathic nature back to you. It's the absence of meaningful connection, intentional service to people who are in close proximity to you, not only emotionally and mentally, but physically. We all want to be valued and understood in our relationships. These are basic things that we should all have in our relationships. But we don't anymore. It's a skill to learn how to connect in a healthy way. And these are the things that I teach all of my clients, how to have that authentic connection with yourself first. And I hope that you will take the time to implement some of the practical tools that I will share later so you can begin that relationship back to yourself. Now, I talked earlier about social media and scrolling, and for the last however many years, since the early 2000s, when social media made its advent onto the scene socially, it has really been, in my opinion, helping us to disconnect from one another. We see sound bites, we see bits and pieces, fragments of each other's lives. But unless we reach out physically or make a phone call, do we really know who our friends are and what they're doing? Digital contact is not genuine intimacy. And I think for far too many people, it has replaced genuine intimacy. And now we are seeing in epidemic proportions, people have an intense hunger and desire for real belonging. And they're willing to do whatever it is they need to do to get that sense of belonging. And there are 3 reasons why connecting matters so deeply. Your emotional well-being, your physical health, and your overall life purpose. So how many of you know that if you don't have meaningful connections in your life, that can have physical consequences on your health? It begins to erode your self-worth. You start to feel like you don't even matter. That's a dangerous emotional place to be in. Loneliness, it increases stress hormones like cortisol. It weakens your immune system. And how many of you know about inflammation in the body? Well, if you're not quite sure about the inflammation, I want you to do some research on your own on just how much inflammation we carry in our bodies and how it impacts us and manifests into other medical disorders. Loneliness. This is what we're talking about. And when it pertains to your life's meaning, having purpose and joy, are you able to reach it when you feel so out of sorts or disconnected from everyone and everything? Have you ever questioned or your value, or have you ever lost sight of what makes life meaningful for you? I know I have. But many years ago, I didn't connect the loneliness portion of it. And as I look back now, I was so lonely. See, I was the friend that everyone said, she's the strong one. And let me be honest here, I prided myself on that many years ago. To be the strong friend. Everybody can come to me. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. See, that was my heart. And I love doing that. I still love doing that. But connection isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental human need just as much as water and food and safe shelter. But when I would reach out to those friends, it would freak them out. You can't be going through problems. I don't know what to do to help you. You're the one that's supposed to always help me. And when I got tired of meeting that response, I said, I can't do this anymore. My mental well-being, my emotional well-being, I need support. I shouldn't have to pay people to support me. If I have friends in my life, I want reciprocity. I want mutual, meaningful engagement. And so I had to get honest with myself. Why was the idea of being the strong one so appealing to me? Why did I need that? Because whatever that was something I need to get met in a different way. Now I want to show you how disconnection tends to show up in our lives. Surface level relationships, one-sided relationships. We all have those relationships where we talk about the weather. Hey, how was the game last night? We talk about surface level work stuff. It feels more transactional than it does relational. It's not transforming you or helping you to evolve into a better person, a better version of yourself. So we stay stuck here at stuff that really doesn't mean much. Then we go to the masks that we wear. And this is what I was talking about me just a moment ago when I said I prided myself on being the strong one. It's because I wore that mask. And I wore it so well that I fooled my own self. And I traced that back to childhood behavior where having to have all the answers, having to need it all figured out, that is what helped me to survive what I went through. But as I got older and life was safer, I carried those same dysfunctional patterns into my adult life that didn't serve me well anymore. And it was hard, because it worked so wonderfully before, but now it's not working and I don't know what to do. Well, being honest with myself, coupled with a firm commitment to do what it took to get me out of this loop, is what helped me to let it go. Self-awareness and learning that I don't need to be in fear all the time. That I could let my walls down and be vulnerable and allow people in. Because many of us, as empaths and highly sensitive people, we want people to be there for us, but we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable to receive. And that night, when my girlfriend said, "Look, let me help take care of you," I didn't argue. It was refreshing. It was needed. And I was so unwell, sick physically, that I couldn't even argue back. Because I'm just going to be honest, I probably would have. But I was in such dire need that I welcomed the help, the assistance, the compassion. I didn't want emotional distance at that moment. I invited her in. I showed her a side of me that wasn't polished, that wasn't 100%. Because I'm just tired. I was tired of putting the brave face forward and then leaving feeling drained emotionally, not feeling energized at all. It's performing. So tell me in the comments below, do you find yourself performing rather than connecting? Do you allow yourself to be vulnerable even with safe people that you know love you and have your best interest at heart? Are you in a space where you're trying to always protect yourself from potential threats or possible hurts? If you are, this presentation is for you. Because I want to share with you that there is a price to pay for living in those spaces. Because loneliness whispers that you don't matter. It whispers that you might be too much for some. And the biggest lie is that you're not enough. Those are lies that we have bought into that we are going to help you correct. And the three biggest ways that it costs us everything when we stay disconnected from ourselves and other people is the emotional toll, the physical impact, and the relational dysfunction. The anxiety, the depression, they become constant. You have all these things going on in your life, and you have no safe place to put them. So they stay trapped in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit. And it begins to reinforce that destructive narrative that you are not worthy, which makes you want to continue to perform. And while it may work for a while, the long run, the long game, it's slowly but surely destroying you. And if you think you can keep up that type of pace for years and years and years and years and not have consequences, well, you are an amazing human being, and please come teach me. Because you and I all know that sleep disturbances, we talked earlier about the weakened immune system, the chronic stress, pain in the body, inflammation. You can go to your doctor, which I highly suggest you do if you're dealing with any of this. And if you're that individual where the doctor says, we can't find anything, we've run every test. Well, guess what? That's a beautiful thing. Now let's work on the spiritual side of it and the emotional side. Who would have thought loneliness can wreak such havoc in your body and in your mind? It goes much deeper than feeling alone or not having someone to talk to. And if you will listen to me for just a second, I want to make this connection. You're going to attract people that continue to keep you in that cycle. Those shallow or toxic, disappointing people, relationships, interactions, engagements, they're going to keep you in this cycle. So you want to make sure that you are listening to yourself. You're not judging what your spirit is trying to share with you, and you become honest with yourself. Do I want to continue to live this way? Is it serving me well? Or is how life working for me right now in my relationships, is it not serving me? I don't want to listen to the lies anymore. I am worthy. And I deserve mutually respectful relationships. And I now know that has to begin with my relationship to myself. So when you've made that vow to yourself, that commitment to yourself that you are wanting to reestablish a respectful and loving relationship with yourself and everyone around you, I want to share with you 4 pathways to that. Healing disconnection, it isn't about finding more people to reconnect to. It's about cultivating deeper, more authentic ways of relating to yourself and others. Connection isn't about numbers like social media wants us to believe. It's about the depth of those relationships that are current in your life. So we've already talked about the first step, and that's awareness. I want you to begin to slow down. Spend at least 5 minutes a day in a very safe, supported environment where you can go undisturbed. And ask yourself these questions of, how do I know I'm being seen? How do I know I'm being supported? What is it that I need that makes me feel that way? And also ask yourself, when am I masking? Who do I tend to mask around? And why? What's the why? What fear do I have by allowing this person or group of persons to see me? These are beautiful questions to ask your spirit in this time when you're alone and you're in a safe space where you won't be interrupted. And the second pathway is about openness. Practicing safe vulnerability. And you want to do this with people that have already demonstrated that they are safe to be vulnerable with. And this doesn't mean that you have to go to them and tell them all of your private personal business. But start small. Here's a good exercise. When people ask you, how are you? Tell them the truth. Many years ago, when I started doing these things that I'm sharing with you, that's where I started. I said, it's very low threatening, but when random people or people I know ask me, hey Shanita, good morning, how are you? I don't feel good today. That was the beginning of practicing being vulnerable, with allowing myself to be seen. And opening the door for people to pour into me. And it shifted me from being isolating to being more engaging. Because now that opens the door for me to ask them, thank you for asking, how are you? And I would stop, give them eye contact, and listen. And I can't tell you the response that I got. It was amazing. People will be caught off guard when they ask you in passing by, hey, how are you? I'm good. And you stop in your tracks, you give them eye contact, and you say, thank you for asking, how are you? And you wait for a response. People are missing that today. We are hungry for that type of connection. It lets people know that I matter. Even if we're complete strangers and we'll never see one another again, for those few moments, I mattered. Don't you want to feel that? Don't you want to be the reason someone else says, I matter? Someone saw me. And these are small things you can do that doesn't cost you money and that doesn't put you out there emotionally raw for other people. It's about the quality of your interactions. And the more you practice this, the better you get. Because you first did this for yourself in your quiet time. You slowed down, closed your eyes and looked within and asked those questions that you needed to hear and to answer. You told yourself first that you mattered. So now what you're doing is you're filling up your cup, and your overflow gave you the ability to stop and ask someone else, are you okay? How are you? This is how you give from your overflow, because you are taking care of your emotional needs first. You're not looking for external validation because you're meeting that need for yourself. And as empaths and highly sensitive people, I cannot recommend enough for you to begin your boundaries journey. Creating boundaries that not only help you say no, but open up your life to say yes to the things that truly matter to you. This is why boundaries are so beautiful, because they give you the opportunity to say yes. And let me just tell you now, you will get the opportunity to not only make your boundaries, but you'll get the opportunity to enforce your boundaries and reinforce. But you begin to be in the driver's seat on when to release and recognize connections that drain you or they fill you up. Those connections that leave you tired. You just feel drained and used. You begin to take that energy back and you share it with the people that leave you feeling fulfilled. It's not selfish to do that. It's self-full. To make yourself a priority. And not every relationship is meant to go deep, and that's okay. But if you consider someone in your life to be close, your inner circle, those individuals, there needs to be depth there in those relationships. Because to the degree that you share freely and lovingly with other people, you need that back in your life. So you want to make sure you have those boundaries in place that not only help you to say no when it's appropriate, but that it opens the door for you to say yes to so many other wonderful and beautiful experiences in this life. So here's the science of all this that we've been talking about so far. It contributes, meaning loneliness, that is harmful to our health. I don't think you need a bunch of research to validate that. You can kind of see that. But here is the interesting fact that chronic loneliness is as harmful to our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. What? It ages us at a cellular level. But people that have strong social connections, they live longer. They recover from illnesses faster. They experience a more improved mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. Their resiliency muscle is huge. They can bounce back from things much quicker because they feel supported and they feel validated from their close circle. But even if you didn't have that stat or those interesting facts, hopefully you know that connection is very little to do about survival. But it's about being in resonance, being in harmony with other people. There is just something about when someone else looks at you and they see you, the most beautiful, wonderful parts of you. And when they see that, they take great care to protect it, to nurture it. That's a beautiful feeling. That I don't have to wear a mask. I can be Shanita, goofy Shanita, silly Shanita, serious Shanita. I can be all those things and be seen for the wonderful and beautiful spirit that I am. And that my close circle, they wish to protect that in me. That when I ask for help, they're like, tell me what you need. I'm on it. That is such a beautiful feeling. And I'm so proud of myself for having cultivated that. And it began that night when I allowed myself to be vulnerable. Now, science may show us the risks involved with loneliness. But the soul reminds us that connection and belonging, that's where the healing takes place. And that's where I want us to begin to move, not only individually, but as a community. So here are 3 practical tools that you can use to help you start your reconnection journey, not only to yourself, but to everyone around you. Now, the first one is a gratitude letter. And this is something that I have done that has given me amazing results. I want you to write a gratitude letter to someone that has been very meaningful and impactful in your life. Now you get to choose whether you send it or not. But allow yourself to share with it with as many words as you choose, to share with them just how much of a wonderful difference they make in your life, the impact that they have had on your journey. And if you choose to give this to this person, it is a very transformative experience. I sent out several letters, and I chose to give my letters to people in person. And to have someone sit before you and read something that you see in them that's beautiful and that has been helpful, you let them know that you see them, that you appreciate them. And not just in a, hey, thanks for coming through, I appreciate it, but you share with them in detail what that meant for you. It's a very powerful exercise. Now, the next is the 1% rule. And all that means is you take one small action moving forward to nurture one relationship. You can send a text, you can write a letter, you can make a phone call, you can invite them out for lunch. The whole point is to show how small gestures make the biggest breakthroughs. One small gesture can have this profound impact on the person that is receiving this from you. And then the last one is the energy check. Now, after you have been out and about in the world and you've gone to your social gatherings or you've come home from wherever, I want you to sit still and ask yourself this honest question. Does being around this person or group of people or this place drain me? Or did it nourish my soul? And be honest. And the reason why this question is so important is because those things and those people that are draining you, you want to take that energy back and put it into places, into people that are nourishing you, so that it opens more room for you to say yes to the things that bring you life. So whichever intervention or whichever tool you choose to use, I want you to be honest and open, to be vulnerable, and to allow people in as much as you're willing to share. And then watch the reaction. See where it takes you. Because you never know that while you're on this journey to have better connection with yourself, you can be the lighthouse for someone else. When we shine, it gives other people permission to do the same. And that's all you're doing. And it's a beautiful thing. So think about those three things: the gratitude letter, the 1% rule, and the energy check. And then write in your journal, how did this impact? What was this experience like for me? I think you're going to find it being a very transformative thing. So now that we've gone through everything and we're closing up this time together, I'm going to ask you the opening question again. When was the last time that you truly felt seen by someone? And I want you to carry this question with you. And remember that being truly seen begins with your ability to be courageous, vulnerable, and authentic. It's going to ask you to take down those masks, to overcome that initial fear and to begin to trust that your genuine self, good, bad, indifferent, is worthy of the love that you deserve. That there is a big, beautiful community out there that is wanting you as a member, that is seeking you, the very person that you've been masking. Here's a community over here that's just waiting for you. I'm not asking you to become someone new, to become somebody that you're not equipped to be. I'm sharing this in the hopes that you will begin to remember exactly who you are, who you have always been beneath the fear, the layers of protection and pretense. When the performance goes away, that beautiful radiant light that is in here, that it begins to shine because it's been given the opportunity to do so. Belonging begins when you dare to show up as your true self. Are you going to take that dare? Will you begin to show up as your true self? I believe you want to, and I certainly believe you can. Listen, I was a stubborn, loving, compassionate, but stubborn person. And it took that one encounter to say, you know what? This is who I am, even at my, I don't want to say darkest, but at my lowest point. Can you still love me? And it turned out that it was transformational, not only for me, but for her. Allow yourself to be seen, my friend. Allow your radiance to shine. I know you want this. You deserve it. And it is certainly within your reach. Now, I would love for you to stay rooted and connected with me. And here are several ways. You can reach out to me via my website, www.iamfuturefocused.com. You can go to my Instagram and Facebook pages. Stay connected that way. And I highly recommend that you sign up for my newsletters. The first of every month, I send out a newsletter with tools and tips and just encouraging ways to stay connected, not with everyone in the world, but just within yourself and in your communities. We all need help. I need help. The biggest difference now is that I'm not afraid to ask for it anymore. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you needing to reach out? Are you ready to be seen? Are you ready to have those meaningful connections and to remember who you are? I'm proud of you, and I'm so grateful that you're taking this first step. May you be happy, and may you be well, and may love always find its way to you. I'll see you soon, friends.